Hey, this is Joe Hernandez, the voice of Daruk and Yunobo in Zelda Breath of the Wild, asking you to subscribe to Game Over Jesse and listen to our interviews and episodes together on this Zelda podcast, the Hylian Gamecast. And for all the latest up-to-date news on your favorite Goron, be sure to follow me at Joe Hernandez VO.
Okay, this is the Zelda mailbag, everybody. I'm just going to jump in here. First question here comes from Amanda. Mailbag question. Do you think there will be more information coming from Breath of the Wild soon? Real info from Nintendo, not leaks, Jesse. That's directed right at you for sure. I don't know for sure.
Considering it came out they questioned at the beginning of February.
Yeah, I would say around mid-June they will give us something. And that is because that's when E3 was supposed to happen. E3 has been canceled. Rest in peace, E3. But I still think that all these companies are still going to do something, probably just digitally around that time. And that just feels like the time for Nintendo, just based on like how they do their announcements and trailers, you know. Unless they're announcing another Zelda game and then they sneak a little bit of Breath of the Wild 2 into the end of it, like they did with the first game, the first Breath of the Wild, where they had like, oh, there's Twilight Princess HD coming in, Zelda Wii U as it was. I feel like that would be a good time for them. Just they're probably just going to give us like 1 minute footage than we have now. So that's my thought. And then like another 6 months later, they're gonna be like, it comes out tomorrow or something. I don't know. No, they wouldn't do that. They need to mark, but
they can only do that with smaller games.
Yeah, but jokes aside, I really think that's when we're gonna hear something. I really think they're gonna keep us until June, when it is the pseudo E3 time, and it's not what I want. Don't get me wrong, I don't want that, but I think that's what Nintendo's gonna do to us. So.
It'll be a gift for my birthday month.
Woo!
It'll be like PlayStation planned to reveal the specs of their PlayStation 5 at that one gaming conference, and then it was canceled, so they just did the video on YouTube.
I mean, that's how they do all these press conferences. They have it anyways, so you might as well. They don't have they don't have like stage shows like they used to, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but for some reason my ring just broke in half suddenly.
Oh, no.
I put my hand down.
The ring is not fit.
So like, you know, you know what happened with the Grinch and his heart? Where his heart grew 10 sizes.
And my fingers
was it 10? I thought it was only 3 sizes.
Well, okay, well, it's like that, but with Geek's finger grew 3 sizes.
But I'm so cold right now.
Well,
It's weird because I live in Florida. No, it's because the AC's are on. I don't understand. When did that
and her
happen?
finger grew 3 sizes that day.
How?
Just my middle finger.
Yeah.
She's been doing curls but just her finger. Like
No, with just my middle finger.
just yeah. Very impressive. But I rambled. What's your guys' thoughts on more Breath of the Wild 2 info that's not leaked?
Same.
Yeah.
It'll be June.
I mean, my inbox is full of a bunch of nonsense. If anyone wants to go and read some of it.
Jesse gets a real leak. He posts it, and everyone's like, "Hey, I want to get on that bandwagon. Here's a leak for you. I pulled it right out of here."
Well, I don't know if it is. It's just like I'll get a bunch of random stuff that is, you can tell it's just like some blah 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 at Gmail, and it's basically just what they want in the game. But then you get people that's from like at whatever website.com, and then there'll be like another name from a different website, and then the things that they say kind of sort of match up, and you're like, oh well, there might be something there. So those are the videos that I've been posting in the past couple of weeks. But that's it.
I would also say too that given what happened with the first Breath of the Wild, with how long it took, because it was originally supposed to be a Wii U exclusive and it took way longer because they wanted to make it as good as it could be. So then it was going to end up being both a dual release. I don't think they want to release information too early. Also, same thing that's happened with other games. Like, they mentioned Pikmin once. They had to restart Metroid. All of Daniel's favorite franchises, they just kind of got rid of. They're like, let's hurt Daniel.
This guy loves this game. Just start over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so I have a feeling that there's not... I mean, granted, I don't know how far apart the other trailers were, but it seemed like... I just think they're going to take their time with this, especially because that virus is probably pushing things out too, because it affected them bad over there. They're getting out of it now, but still, that probably has an effect, and just they want to release what's necessary. I mean, they were even careful with their wording. In that teaser trailer, they said it's in development, and everyone's like, oh, it just started, whereas all of us that have been following it, we're like, no, it's been in development for a long time, actually. They're just now telling us that, but they also didn't want to, we imagine they didn't want to be like, it's coming. They're just like, it's in development. And we're like, okay, look at how much this trailer has.
Because there were so many...
Yeah, it's in development.
There were so many websites. It's like, oh, Nintendo officially... begins development or whatever on the game, and it's like, no, like Aonuma said, like as soon as Breath of the Wild ended, like in the interviews that he was starting on the, like, do you think he just took a break for a year? Like,
because they started the DLC when they finished making the game, not when the game released. They finished the game before they released it. So if they started the DLC before the game was even released, then they would have already had all of those extra ideas, and thus a long time ago already had the idea of making a sequel.
Yeah.
So, it's been in development a while.
Yep.
What was my point?
But
they're taking their time.
Yeah. We could all be wrong. They could put out a direct next week with a trailer.
True.
And, because Nintendo is notoriously kind of a wild card, but just like in general, everything they do, which is what's good about them, yeah, they could also totally keep us hanging for until June, and that's what I personally think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, if something, and Denny's got a point in the chat. If something gets started, you get a best, and that's what happened with. They gave us a logo. They said Metroid Prime 4 is coming. Here's the logo, probably a temporary placeholder logo, and then a year later, 2 years later, they said, actually, we're starting over. So, yeah, like
nothing's happening.
They're pretty well known for just like withholding info from us for long periods of time.
I would say the only person who would know for sure that does not work for Nintendo is Reggie.
Yeah.
I would say he's the only one that knows anything about Metroid and Zelda and all the other upcoming games.
Because he was still president when that stuff got into the works.
Yeah.
So
Reggie knows.
So like he doesn't work at Nintendo anymore. So like maybe if you got him like really, really drunk. Then...
Also, everyone in the chat talking about Hey Pick breaking my heart. Stop.
No, it's good. That means they've watched the previous podcasts. They're in on the joke.
Oh, they know how to hurt me. That's what it really is.
That's like saying Amiibo Festival was the latest Animal Crossing game.
But wasn't it?
No. It was an abomination.
I mean, like, what was it, though?
It was like a knockoff Animal Crossing version of Mario Party.
Oof.
That you had to buy extra amiibo for.
Oof. It's like saying the best mode in Smash Bros. Was Smash Tour. And Smash for Wii U. Which I still don't understand how that stupid game worked.
I was going to mention Link's crossbow training, but...
Ah, yes. The best Zelda game. Link's crossbow training.
Link's crossbow training outsold Wind Waker.
Don't say it. No, he said it.
Are we accounting for any sort of inflation though?
No, like not money. It outsold it number wise.
Like units.
Right, but advertisement things.
What?
I just refuse to believe that's legitimate of anything. I don't know. It's because people were being babies and said Zelda's for
My Zelda.
grungy teenagers. Wind Waker's for babies. And it's like,
Yeah.
did you see
maybe.
Ganondorf's death?
I think it's because
No,
everyone.
they hadn't, because they hadn't played the game.
That's true. And if they had gotten over themselves, literally my eldest brother stopped playing the Legend of Zelda series because he hated how that game looked. And then you have my
Wow.
other brother who was like, I don't care. Is it fun? It is fun. Great. Oh, I get to play in Link's pajamas? Cool. And then there's me who's like, hi, I'll play games eventually.
Pajamas is the way, though.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's like he just gets them, but they're invisible. So it's just like, I guess I'll just wear my old clothes.
Well, if you gotta wear something,
Yeah.
you just wore
Right. This
invisible
isn't Breath of the
clothes.
Wild.
Yeah,
See,
the Breath
there you
of
go.
the Wild.
You don't really have to. Yep.
Because it's like it must suck though. Because like he wakes up, it's his birthday. For some reason, he got kicked out of his house the night before because his sister wakes him up while he's like on top of the thing by himself. So
I assumed it was just because he like went and like passed out there somehow. Like maybe he was out partying the night before his birthday. Probably not that one. But
Yeah, but
no,
they-
it was definitely not that. I think Link sleeps in places.
Link just sleeps everywhere.
yeah, like, well, one
I
day
can
he'll
Maybe he
fall asleep
somehow
on the
got to go to the
bridge.
parallel world of Termina, although that's a different timeline. And got Chateau Romani.
Yeah.
he got too much. He's laid it on a little too heavy with the Chateau Romani.
All right,
Oh, boy.
Geek, do
That's
you have
one
a question?
We did it.
Next, we managed.
we did.
All right. So I'm just going to go down the list of the 4 we have here, now 3. How would you rank the Blight Ganons strongest to weakest? I think, without a doubt, Thunderblight is the strongest. He's just the most, he has the most, you have to be the most tactical with Thunderblight Ganon because of his
absolutely.
quick moves.
I'd say, like weakest or strongest to weakest, yeah, Thunderblight's definitely easily the strongest. Like if you're good with parrying, then you'll be okay. But like
Right.
the rest of us who are not good with parrying, no.
Yeah, if you're me and you like to just spam the certain buttons, then you're not gonna be okay. I honestly put Water Blight and Fire Blight somewhere in the same area because again, I think you have to use certain tactics more often. Whereas Wind Blight, I feel like Wind Blight felt the easiest to me. Whereas I used like for those ice blocks for Water Blight, I was using the Cryonis, whatever it is, having to use my bombs for the whirlpool fire of death thing for Fire Blight. I'm not sure which one I would rank as harder. I mean, I guess I had a harder time with Water Blight. I have an easier time ranking the gifts you get at the end. Thunderblight's the hardest to me, the strongest. Weakest
Right.
might be Wind Blight.
Interesting. I would rank it differently because I would say Thunderblight's still the hardest. But then Wind Blight being the second hardest, actually. I don't know what it is. I just have a hard time with him for some reason. He's just not in like a difficult way, but maybe he's kind of annoying. Because he's
A little bit.
Because every time I've played through Breath of the Wild 5 times, 4 out of those 5 has been on Master Mode. And the annoying part with Wind Blight Ganon is he spends so much time warping from place to place and healing himself that it just takes way too long to kill him. So that's my own experience with it, because he spent like, it's not even just that he warps pop. He like spends way too much time there, and as he's doing this, like and he's flying around or whatever, he's healing himself because his master. I'm getting annoyed, and so that's
Fair.
a thing. And then I would say fire and then water is biggest. Except when you're doing the like rematches with them in Champions Ballad, then I would swap. In the rematch, I would swap water and fire. And the only reason for that is because the equipment it gives you can't bring in your own equipment. The equipment it gives you in the Water Blight fight puts you at a disadvantage.
Yeah. Especially once you're in the water and throwing bombs doesn't really help you.
Especially Master Mode. So,
It's just like,
yeah.
I don't know. I refuse to do Thunderblight rematch.
The Thunderblight rematch, the key to victory is to use...
Wait,
Then
it cut out. Use what?
Oh, Urbosa's Fury.
Oh,
Like, your
yeah, I
first run
spammed
through it-
that in one of them.
Yeah. That's the key to victory in the Thunder Blight Ganon rematch in Champions Battle, to use Urbosa's Fury, which you would not have had the first time you fought him. But there you go. That makes it way easier, if that helps.
Yeah.
Not that you're streaming the game anymore because you're streaming Animal Crossing.
I know. I started Banjo-Kazooie, started Sims, and then Animal Crossing comes out, and I'm like, what other games? There is nothing but Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing came out this week I started streaming with. So,
what is that sound?
It might be one of my neighbors or something. I think it might be a smoke alarm. I hope my house isn't burning.
Sounds like a smoke alarm.
My house
I know.
Might be burning down.
We changed all of our fire alarm batteries at the same time, and my brother's ran out the other day. So it does that thing where it beeps every couple of minutes.
Oh.
So you have to take the battery out and push a button. So we're all just on edge waiting for the run out of battery.
Oh no.
And the way our house is set up, if one fire alarm goes off, they all go off immediately, right after. So if you accidentally have too much smoke in the kitchen, I'll be in my room and I'll hear the kitchen one, and I will get to hear before mine goes off, and I'm like, I can't take it. And mine's right above my head.
Yikes. Oh, that is annoying.
It's I don't want to wake up to that. Please.
Bad time.
What are we talking about?
Daniel, do you want to pick the final question?
Sure. Jesse, did you give your answer?
Yeah, you didn't give your answer.
We just talked way too much. And we didn't.
So Thunder is the hardest because of the quickiness.
It's too quick.
Yeah,
true.
It's like Pikachu with agility.
Right.
And then, because he zips zaps across everywhere.
Zip zap zop. That's a theater game. It's fun.
And then, fire, water, wind. Wind is the easiest.
Why do I have a hard time with wind?
To me,
thinking about master mode, that makes sense.
It reminds
of him regaining strength.
It reminds me of Mega Man because he has the giant cannon on the one hand.
He is Mega Man.
I think Wind Blight was the easiest for me to spam, just spam my hitting button, spam bombs and things like that. I don't know why. Spam with arrows, whereas I felt like fire and water, he had so many other moves that I couldn't do that. And I'm all about spamming the X button or whatever you use to hit him.
I will say
Fire Blight though feels like the most Zelda, because he's got far more of a routine where you gotta you gotta wait him out and you gotta dodge his attacks and then you throw the bomb and cool thing, and then you hit him when he's down, and then rinse repeat. And it feels very Zelda boss. The other ones don't as much.
The worst thing Nintendo could do for Breath of the Wild 2 is give us 4 more Blights. Give us Earth Blight, and then
Earth Blight,
whatever other types of Blight.
Hucks rocks at you.
Grass Blight. I don't know.
Honestly, some of the Overworld bosses seemed a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think probably a Golden Lionel fight would be harder than any of them. So,
Yep.
Yep. Or at least would take longer because they have an absurd amount of health.
You have an absurd amount of health.
I don't know why Lionels aren't even considered a mini boss. They don't even get the health bar above them, and I'm like, this is harder than.
In an interview.
Oh, absolutely! Way harder than a Hinox or a Stone Talus. Except when they fight each other. I've seen this. I've probably talked about it on the podcast before, but there was this video where this guy basically baited different Overworld bosses into fighting each other. And the Stone Talus beat all of them, and the only reason for that was because none of them were smart enough to attack its weak points specifically. And so none of them were able to do any damage to it, and that was the only win. But womp womp. But it was funny seeing a Guardian blow a Stone Talus's arm off with his laser. So there is that at least. But then it pulls his rock up at the Guardian, and game over, man.
Did you know?
I like the one of the Hinox who. It was against the Guardian. The Guardian was following Link, and the Hinox just picks up the Guardian and tosses it out of it being able to be rendered. It was hilarious to the point where it just couldn't be rendered in the game, and I was like, That's hilarious.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
There are the traveling Gorons in the game. And if you get into a fight next to one, or if like bokoblins start fighting one, the Gorons will fight back.
Oh, in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I have not seen... I've seen some travelers fight. I've seen Gerudo travelers fight as well. But never seen a Goron have to fight.
Yeah. The Goron...
I have to like bait a Goron. I have to go to a stable and just follow a Goron around.
It's really just like Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess, where they just punch.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because in Twilight Princess they punch you, but Majora's Mask you do the punching.
This is very true.
And that's what they do in Breath of the Wild. Like, it would be cool if they like curled up into a ball and like rolled over them, but they just punch. Do they do that anymore? Is that in Breath of the Wild? Do they curl up into a ball and roll?
I've seen the young ones roll.
Interesting.
And Yunobo curls up into a ball, but then he becomes a cannonball. A cannonball man. A man and ball. But anyways, that just sounds bad. All right.
Take the last question, Daniel.
The last question?
Yeah.
I'm going to read these two questions here and see which one's better. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll pick one from the... Let's see. Is there one in the chat here?
Daniel has never seen a Gordon.
Gordon? His name is Gordon. He's a Goron. He's a Gorbin.
Isn't there a Goron named Goro?
Goro? Probably.
In the comics, all of the Gorons... No, is it the Gorons? Or the Rito? No, not the Rito. The Zora.
What?
What?
I think in the comics...
Oh, no.
When I was researching for the one video, one of the races, every time they would speak at the end of their sentence, they would go like Gora Gora or something like that.
That's right. They would say Goro at the end of their sentences. Also, Gomu in the chat, they do sumo wrestle essentially in Twilight Princess.
This is true.
That's when all of the girl Zelda fans, female Zelda fans went nuts because Link for the first time didn't have a shirt on.
Yeah.
This is true. And also the first time you go up Death Mountain, they will punch you. And it's hilarious. It's actually just really funny because they're huge. They have to like... My house is on fire. They have to like bend down to punch Link because they're so much bigger than him, and they're just like... it's just comical.
I feel like they should just be like, bye.
Yeah, they should. I didn't pick a question here, guys. I got too distracted by my house being on fire, but... There were some questions here before. Where did they go? I'm scrolling up here. I'm very professional, as you can see. Gusla has asked a really good question. We also love Guslas.
That's true.
He says, question, is the Triforce with the royal family since Wind Waker?